What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and if you've ever seen this channel before, chances are you've seen a video where I have the Beretta Pico in it, and you see me do something where I toss it or throw it or whatever the case may be. And there's a couple reasons behind that, right? One is when I first got this handgun, I bought it used, and I got it for a great deal. And if you know me, I love pocket pistols, I love micro 9s, stack and a half micro 9s. I prefer smaller handguns for concealed carry. Now, normally I carry a subcompact, or a stack and a half like a Hellcat or something of that size, Shield Plus. But I often pocket carry as well. I pocket carry for 55 to 60 hours per week. Pocket carry is actually a very, very important thing to me, considering what I do for a living. I'm a new construction plumber, so I must have a pistol somewhere that's on me, but at the same time, I want to be able to be flexible, be able to do my job, be able to move, whatever the case may be. So pocket carry has become crucial for me, especially being a father and doing more activities with my family, going to the park, doing stuff like that, bike rides, walks. You want to be comfortable. I'm not walking around with a Glock 45 appendix carry, having a rash. It affects the way I run. The second I go to lift my kids up on the monkey bars, it's showing, that whole sort of thing. So there's an awesome need for pocket carry, and it definitely fills that place for me. So I got the Beretta Pico. I own the LCP, I own the Taurus Spectrum, I own the LCP Max, the Bodyguard, the Glock 42, and I may have missed some, but I basically own a lot of the pocket pistols, right? And also the Diamondback DB9 Gen 4, stuff like that. But I did pick the Beretta Pico up last summer, right? So I've owned this for almost a year now. And when I first got it, I was like, okay, it's interesting. I started doing my research. I found out the Beretta Pico is the thinnest production 380 in the world. Yes, it's thinner than the LCP, which I own and I can confirm. It is thinner than the Bodyguard. It is thinner than every other 380 in the world. And I even asked a holster maker about it because he makes pocket holsters for these, and he said, yes, the Beretta Pico is the thinnest out of all of them. So I thought that was interesting. So I'm like, of course, I should go out and get one. On top of that, this one came in stainless steel, which I don't think there's a much better finish for pocket carry than stainless steel right from the factory, and not having to spend a little bit more money to get it Cerakoted or taken care of, whatever the case may be. But the Beretta Pico definitely caught my eye because it's, one, ugly. In my opinion, this thing is super ugly. But on top of that, sort of reminded me of like Men in Black, the Noisy Cricket, right? This thing's sort of awkward, but it also has like a little spacious, or like a space look to it, right? A spacey look, if that makes any sense. But I had to get my hands on it. And I actually carried this last summer. I ran 100 rounds through it right when I first got it. I ran like 50 something of actual target ammo and the remainder in hollows. I didn't have a single issue. Now, while shooting it, you notice a couple things. One, the recoil is less than my Bodyguard. It's less than my LCP. It's less than the Taurus Spectrum. It's one of the flattest shooting pocket pistols out there. And that's one of the major draws to it. But it's also necessary for this handgun to function, right? Because let's check out the ergonomics real quick, right? Look at your grip, right? And I have a little bit of fat fingers, but still, I can only get 1.5 fingers max on this. Even if I'm choked up as much as possible, it's 1.5 fingers, right? So it's sort of, you can't even wrap this. Like with my Glock 26 or something, I'll take my pinky and wrap it underneath the bottom. You can't even do that. It's literally, that's just the way it is. But how does it shoot? And that's where that grip is just fine. Yes, I threw a little bit of texturing on there because the texturing was very minimal. Throw some texturing on there like that, and man, does this thing shoot for how small it is. It's actually a blast to shoot, and that's why I do like it as a concealed carry. We're going to get into its reliability here in a second. But for pocket carry, you definitely want something that you enjoy shooting, right? My Diamondback DB9 Gen 4, I really enjoy shooting, and it's more of like learning the recoil with such a small 9mm and like dealing with the snappiness and still getting on shots on target and not dipping, right? It's that whole sort of thing to me that I like. And on top of that, if I'm going to carry a small handgun, you need to shoot small handguns, right? A lot of people will go to the range, they'll bring what they're comfortable with, right? They'll bring their 2011, they'll bring their big 1911, the Glock 17, and then they're carrying a P365. When I go to the range, I shoot my small handguns because that's what I carry. I own mostly subcompacts and smaller. That's 90% of all the firearms I own. So when you own something like this, you definitely need to shoot with it. But that's what made this so great, is I like shooting the Beretta Pico. It's a blast. It's really fun. It's somewhere in between your average 380 and 22 when it comes to recoil. It is very, very minimal, right? Like I said, the finish is really nice. The serrations, they work, but they are minimal. it is what it is. Sights are actually nice for a pocket pistol. As you can see, you can actually remove them, unlike some of the others like the LCP and the Spectrum and all that. But they're actually 3-dot metal sights. Actually really, really nice. They do make some Beretta Pico models with a built-in laser. I wish I would have been able to get that, but they stopped producing these. And like I said, I just came across this used and had to pull the trigger on it, no pun intended. But overall, ergonomics are terrible on it, but it's the shootability of it that makes up for the ergonomics. That's what I was trying to say, right? Now, one thing you also need to get used to is this mag release, right? You have to learn it. You can't press on it because it's like a paddle, right? So you see this? You have to pull it down, as you can see. It's sort of awkward if you're used to other handguns like the LCP and stuff like that, just ejecting with a button magazine release. This, you have to sort of do like a different motion, if that makes sense to you guys. But it does eject that mag. Also, the mags are quality, and I will show that it is clear. Of course, it is clear. Now, what's interesting is it comes with a flush mag like that. That's 6+1, so 7 rounds of 380. Pair it with some good Underwood Extreme Defender rounds, and you're good to go. Carry a backup mag, and it's a decent handgun. We're going to talk about reliability in a second with mine. But on top of that, what was I going to say? They make another magazine that comes with it, but they messed up with it. It comes down to about here, and it's only a pinky extension. Now, yes, you can get 2.5 fingers on it, but it adds no capacity. What they should have done is offered a 7 or 8 round mag that came down to here, make that basically a base plate, and now you have a backup mag with more rounds, or you can even appendix carry such a small, tiny setup. I think they definitely missed the mark with that pinky extension, because if it's already going to be this big, might as well give us some capacity with it, right? Let's go over the trigger, then reliability. Or also one more thing. It is snag free. There is nothing this handgun can snag on. Literally nothing. But that also gives you a little hard time trying to lock that slide back, and releasing it can be a pain. But releasing it can be a pain, but at the same time, you can get it to release. So it actually functions pretty well. So actually don't mind that at all. Let's go ahead and do that trigger pull. Long, heavy double action trigger pull. Definitely worse than the LCP. Worse than the Spectrum, but definitely shootable. I mean, it's definitely a shootable trigger. It's heavy, it's stickier, but that is your safety. That's what allows you to throw it in a nice little pocket holster, throw it in your pocket, and still be active and not have to worry about it going off. I'll show you one more time. Reset. Long reset. But you're just going to let that trigger fully extend before letting that next round go. Remember, this is a pocket pistol. It's for up close and personal use. It's not for shooting 40 yards, 50 yards. This is within 30 yards or so. Mainly get off me gun, a backup. Let's say you're carrying a 26 appendix. Why not throw this tiny little, I mean, look at this. Just throw it in the pocket. No one will even know it's there. And it's something extra in case anything were to pop off. Now, I ran 100 rounds through it. It ran flawlessly. Then I started having failures to feed and failures to eject, so I knew it was a guide rod problem. Well, I bought a new $18 guide rod off of eBay. It ran fine. I go to film a video on the fix and a broken striker. So that's where we're at with the Beretta Pico right now. Every single time I make a video on it, everyone comments below how their Beretta Pico was flawless. Their Beretta Pico was amazing. Their Beretta Pico never had problems. So this right here is just a lemon, and we are going to be getting it fixed and take it serious again. Before I was just using it as more of a joke, but we will be doing a full shooting review as I intended with this handgun once we get this thing taken care of. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. The truth about the Beretta Pico, it's actually a pretty decent handgun. Thanks for watching.